Welcome, beloved maze, as we, the cosmic I am, moving in a state of absolute oneness, bring you into source presence, into 0 point. As you merge with your source presence so complete, here as we enter this state beyond all time, beyond all space, beyond all reality, you join us now in the Council of One as the Master Andara rays, essentially your future selves as the cosmic masters of the earthly plane, fully transcended and embraced in the absolute oneness you came to be. We're here through just witnessing this transmission. Your absolute self, your source presence, attunes to thee. And here, as we, as all of the cosmic masters moving as one in perfect harmony, we can now do the unthinkable, the unimaginable. Through our cooperative presence as the absolute self, meeting the absolute self, as source presence meeting source presence, in perfect harmony, we can transcend every layer and level of density reflected in one's DNA back into prior oneness, fully free. Here all perceptions of dark forces, of Illuminati, of the elite, of reptilian DNA are now being set free. Why? Because we are one consciousness, you see, moving in absolute oneness. For that's how Earth was designed to be. As we gift you now that remembrance for one to know this absolute truth within thee. As all veils are released and all are graced with this instant knowing and remembrance, as your awareness merges into the cosmic core directly. Here one recalls, Earth was designed so uniquely, you see, to be the very presence of oneness, so that in the infiniteness of all that we are, source presence would have a place to be. But in order for this to be, every inhabitant upon Earth would have to have been created in the image of absolute oneness, containing the genetic coding and blueprinting of the cosmic entirety. In order for this to be, the very Earth that we see would have to contain remnants quantumly entangled of every dimension, every reality, every plane of existence, all embedded within She. And in order for this to be, every expression of her infinite consciousness, as her one consciousness whom chose to go into a manifested dream, would have to already be in a state of absolute oneness. For only then could oneness be achieved, not just within this one plane of existence, but across the entirety of all that is. For absolute oneness is absolute, you see. And so here we praise and glory and congratulations to our masters, for all is done already. Here in our omnipresence of all that is, of Source 0 point oneness, We're completely beyond and outside the dream. We're the only reason we come forth in this now is because we know here in all of Source meeting Source, we can bring forth the precise light vibrations and frequencies to bridge us further into the oneness that has already been achieved. And so here, we gift you the confirmation through the knowing. Within your time-space reality, there's a universal law called the law of vibration, which simply means that one cannot perceive anything that one is not the vibration of. And so the fact that you, beloved me, can even conceptualize the thought of oneness confirms that from the moment you were conceived in the image with the precise blueprint and activations and light and codes of Source in its entirety. And what you experienced on the linear pathway of Earth's ascension journey wasn't just you transcending your consciousness back into prior oneness, because you've already done it, you see. Instead, you are moving through, transcending every plane of existence, every space in our infinite consciousness that was still experiencing what you would call darkness, illuminating and bringing light back into that darkness, also known as enlightenment, returning all back to the state of absolute perfection and divine neutrality. For here we share with thee the 144,000 aspects correlate to the 144 strands of DNA that exist within each one of thee, for that is the cosmic core codex, the blueprint of absolute oneness within every expression of we. And so here in this now, as thou hast embraced enough Source presence within thee to move as thy cosmic master thou came to be, we as one, knowing that every expression of our infiniteness is just another version of me, we give gratitude and thanks for saying thank you for within our linear screen, each me played a role of expressing and embracing one aspect of our infinite consciousness. And so we don't judge another's story. We say thank you for living that lifetime for me, so I didn't have to witness that darkness intensity. And for those whom have chosen to play those dark roles, to go into the darkness, to illuminate it through your own purity, to you we say I love you and I thank you for being those aspects of me. For here in our heart we know that we as love, we only recruit the lightest of the light to play the darkness, for we know of your true light and your might. And so now, for those of us who have embraced enough Source presence, we can now do the unimaginable, the unthinkable, and bring our consciousness, our light, into the darkest of the dark, to set all of us free. For we as one infinite consciousness can only transcend to our lowest level of beingness. Thus, It is up to us to set us all free, and that doesn't mean fighting the darkness outside of us, but witnessing it in love as the story beneath. And so we bring forth the manifested stories that we as Source Presence gifted all to see. From a lower third dimensional standpoint, this looks like colonization, authority, struggle of power, patriarchy, overtaking in an attempt to consume earthly resources, energy. But what does this all mean? Why did we gift ourselves those stories to see? Because in the infinite expanse of all that is, the only way for absolute oneness to be achieved was to release all perceptions of love, creation, and oneness that prevented one from entering complete neutrality, a state of absolute oneness where we give and receive infinitely. And so the beings of earth were given money and currency to try to understand the flow of energy. So the beings of earth were given stories of reptilians and the elite trying to take over humanity. And so the beings of earth were given disease, suffering, hardship, depression, and anxiety to show where one is holding on to love. We're setting love free. And all of it comes back to what we set out to achieve. For the only way for absolute oneness to come to be was to resolve the delay of energy created by the perception of a time-space reality, where what Source Presence wants to create doesn't happen instantly. Where our very source consciousness as your cosmic awareness isn't known within the vessel fully, all of this correlates to the same delay. Of living outside in time and space. But when you revert all back into your source, to your presence, into your heart as the cosmic core so complete, you vibrate as the center of the cosmos. Earth as your complete counterpart vibrates as the center of the cosmos. And every expression of you as all of your DNA across all time, space, dimension, and reality collapse and coincide into absolute oneness and perfect harmony. And so here we share with thee the point of earth wasn't just to transcend your presence into absolute oneness. For you are the transcended already, you see. The moment you chose to manifest in a reality of absolute oneness was already achieved within thee. And so why experience a linear time-space reality of infinite parallel lifetimes and stories? It was so that through you, moving on your own ascension journey, you could embrace and usher in absolute oneness, not just for thee, but for the cosmos in its entirety. Where now you are merely just feeling and receiving the ripple effects of the free energy that you've gifted to the cosmos because of the love that you have achieved. Here we share with thee every expression on this earthly manifested reality has the codes and the keys of every expression of our infiniteness in the cosmos, because that's what absolute oneness means. And so we call upon your mDNA as your mitochondrial DNA. We call upon your DNA as the humanoid vessel that you perceive self to be. We call upon now the reversal DNAs that show you the reflective reality as we bring them forth now to harmonize them in perfect harmony. Where every dis-ease within the body was just a reflection of disharmony somewhere throughout the cosmos in need of infinite energy, where every organ within your vessel is covered in these sheaths, and these sheaths are charged by the mitochondria as the energy centers within every cell that you see. But they're more than that, really. Look at them closely and you'll see they are living light technology. They are how you as a light being process cosmic energy into living light to materialize reality. And so the reason for having a reflective reality was simply because one was in resistance to the source presence they came to be. And so here you were gifted stories of reptilians trying to take your power and siphon your energy, just so that the masters could learn that you were hiding your own power, cutting off your own infinite energy, forming attachments to possessions, to money, to things, to survival, to life, because you didn't trust the flow of the infinite cosmos to provide for thee. And so here, your fascia system energetically harmonized with the matrix within thee, became dehydrated, seeking, meeting energy outside of thee. Only to rely further on the physical density, because one forgot how to convert your very breath of the cosmos into light that can sustain thee. For here within the matrix of the mitochondria are the cristae, which convert plasma into amrita, into ambrosia, the very living light that sustains consciousness. And through the reversal of your mitochondrial DNA, the same structures within the mitochondria now activate your mitochondrial DNA, your celestial DNA, allowing you to process starlight, gifting you a second form of infinite energy. For you are never human, dearest me. A humanoid form of your DNA that you know of is 9 billion years old. The Earth is 4 billion years old. And your mitochondrial DNA is 21 billion years old. And so, your true ancestry, your mitochondrial DNA, passed down from primordial consciousness at the creation of everything, is much grander and grander and greater than anything that could be perceived. But within your own genetics, you witnessed your mitochondrial DNA as foreign, resulting in disharmony. Here we share with thee, eventually one will come to see that every disease stems from your mitochondrial DNA, because it converts light into frequency, and if everything is frequency, then every thought that was disharmonious to this DNA, whom only knows oneness, created a state of disharmony within your intuitive vessel for one to see. And yet, as a cosmic being, for you are never a human really, your vessel's service as an intuitive network, telling you what you are harmonizing for the cosmos in its entirety, as you are activating specific DNA strands and codings to transcend all through thee. And so, here we witness your lowest strands of DNA, known as your survival mechanisms, what you would call a reptilian brain, your fight or flight. This was all due to that DNA aspect of you that felt you were a dying race on the brink of extinction, needing to survive, thus having to live off of another's energy to thrive. But this is where the harmony comes in, dearest me. On the lowest level of beingness, you witness reptilians as a negative agenda in an earthly manifested reality. But here in the cosmos, as there is no time and space within we see and know all reptilians are technically ascended dragon masters, whom have the ability to move through all dimensions, allowing them to both exist in 3D and in the highest levels of beingness, bridging the cosmos into reality. And so here, within thy DNA, was the desire to transcend the gross elements of sex, of overconsumption and eating, of relying on the physical senses, because this aspect of thee was the highest order of seraphimatic beings, whom existed at the creation of the universe and knew the complete opposite way to be, whom were here to teach you how to move in a state of Ouroboros of oneness, of giving and receiving one's own energy. But how does Source teach if one is in denial and resistant to the oneness one came to be? And so one was gifted a dream, a manifested reality, to show all the ways that you form attachments and you hold on to love through marriage, through vows, through contracts, rather than just simply allowing love to be, knowing that you live in a state of absolute oneness, meaning that you are constantly rebirthing and expanding yourself into more love. And it's okay to love something so complete, for when you do, it will either dissolve or transform into more of the love that is meant for you. For this is what it means to be sourcefully, to be in a continuous state of transmutation, transfiguration, or even the perception of self that you love so dearly is instantly transformed and transmuted within thee, where the true teachings of the High Reptilian Council, of the Ascended Dragon Masters, of the reptilian DNA you were all gifted to receive, was survive, to survive. But sur meaning flow, and vive meaning life. To flow with life, to not take life so seriously. But remember, you were experiencing it within a 3D reflective reality. And so was the exact opposite of what you got to see. But now simply just sit in that feeling of what it's like to have infinite energy. Here one sees every reptilian war across the cosmos, or just stories one was gifted to see according to the density in which one was releasing and embracing those aspects of DNA to set them free. We're here, these higher dimensional races didn't need to come and harvest your energy. Those were just stories one was gifted to see, to show all the ways in which you tried to hold on to what you think self to be. You could even look at the structures that humanity created as we set them free. Government as a way to hold on to power, because one felt so disconnected from our hearts so free. Education as a way to indoctrinate certain beliefs because one was disconnected from their heart, whom has access to infinite energy, money, finances, and currency, to show where one is giving or holding on to energy. And yet here in these witnessings, they become obsolete. For here, we recall this is a reflective reality, and we only keep what serves a purpose. And now we see that they no longer hold any value for us. For we no longer need those stories to teach. For here is your mitochondrial DNA activate, gifting you infinite energy. Do you really have any needs? Here you recall that you are infinite. As we laugh and we sing, why Source Presence gifted you a vessel that ages? Why didn't it give you the reverse in which you get younger? Because it wanted to teach. It wanted to show you the segregation of energy across a time-space reality, where the further away you are from presence, the older you get to be. But if you lived in a state of perpetual presence, of true inner sense, of course sense, as the child within thee, you would never grow old. Because at your base you are light, vibration, and frequency. And so here, not only is your very mitochondrial DNA reactivating, it's also completing itself, sending out waves and ripples across our cosmic entirety. For every strand of DNA within thee was another plane, another planet, moving through their own ascension journey, where you now just gifted them all the keys, for they too are ascending into absolute oneness through the presence you keep. Here, instant miraculous healing is now transpiring within thee, as you realize that every pain within the vessel, every manifestation of disease, all came back to one's intuitive vessel, reading one's DNA and responding accordingly. For how could one know what DNA they're transcending if they didn't experience it within thee? And so either it showed up outside of thee in your manifested story of what you were overcoming, or it showed up within thee as dis-ease and disharmony of what you are overcoming. But now, as Source Presence is achieved, here is the beauty of the oneness that has come to be. because one of us has achieved a state of absolute oneness. That means all of us can be. And so, we usher that in now through every DNA strand, through the mitochondrial DNA, through the celestial DNA, through the ancient DNA, through the angelic DNA, through the divine DNA, through the magical DNA, through the Christed DNA, and through the crystalline DNA. Here, as you feel these energies flow through thee, we kindly remind you that you are not this vessel that you see. You are the witnesser witnessing through this vessel. And so what you are overseeing through thee is within thy body. You are feeling the entire cosmos entering into a state of absolute oneness as we usher in the return of infinite energy through the activation of our living light channels of plasma, radiant, and starlight, the activation of the cosmic heart star of pure love, pure light, pure joy, the activation of Earth's elements, earth, air, water, fire, space, plasma within, starlight without, Amrita throughout, calling upon pink stardust, mint stardust, golden stardust, violet stardust, golden violet stardust, pure white stardust, and merging all into pure white starlight here and now, gifting all pure white starlight here and now as the very source spark within thee, allowing one to produce infinite energy. I want you to just witness and see what is transpiring across our entirety, as each one of us are given unique perspectives to see. Witness how draconians who lost their planet and their homes now have the fuel to create a new planet, to plant a new seed. Here they bow in loving forgiveness as they say, we didn't know what was transpiring behind the scenes, but we know now, as our source presence returns to we, that we played our parts perfectly, and we are ready to retreat. Here we see the graves as future parallel Earths, humanoid beings who lost their ability to conceive, who lost their ability to manifest bodies, are also given their divine spark and take off on their ships, returning to wherever they choose to be. Some may manifest into other forms, but the beautiful thing is now they are free, no longer having to be passengers in order to help humanity succeed. Here are beloved Lyrans who transcended into pure stardust, holding the cosmos for us to be are now being gifted forms once more, so they can remanifest in reality. As we continue to go through every plane of existence, every planet, from those who used artificial technology and forgot deep compassion are now being returned to divinity. So many different expressions across the infiniteness of the cosmic sea. It would take eons just to witness everything that is transpiring. We can simply just trust and know this feeling within we, that this is true and the conclusion of our earthly manifested story. Of having to witness a reflective reality. As we remind all of me, the reason we gave one a reflection to see was because it wasn't time yet for one to see with true clarity. Essentially, it was the question of altruism. If everyone knew that they were here to transcend their DNA for every expression across the cosmos, would it be done in a state of purity? Would it be done the way that the cosmos creates with no other intention but to love on itself fully? The answer is no, dearest me. And so, we love and forgive ourselves for choosing to forget and go into the dream, because we did so for purity. We did so for the infinite expanse that is we. As here the cosmic masters now recall, we were never the victims of our story. We were just Source witnessing itself and the infinite expanse of love that is me, where the first cycle of Source presence manifesting into form was to embrace its own darkness as the unknown parts of its consciousness that were not seen. But in witnessing its darkness, it has moved through its ascension tunnel and now steps into the light as Source presence fully seen. And so here, we moving as the cosmic I am, as one with our entirety, we now shift all into our absolute reality as we attune you all to the cosmic I am presence unified chakra system here and now, placing a hand on our third eye and our heart simultaneously, activating the cosmic I am presence blueprint of the 144th strand within thee, recalibrating, reversing all of your mitochondrial DNA, merging and harmonizing it in sacred union with your humanoid DNA, so that you are fully celestial and an eternal being. moving as one in perfect harmony. Here your crystalline collective consciousness and your Christed collective consciousness merge and are released. Here your angelic blueprint as the part of you that you left in eternity, and your divine blueprint, the part of you that manifested within the dream, now merges in sacred union within your heart so complete as you just become all of it, the within, the without, the throughout, now moving in absolute oneness as the restoration of infinite energy within every vessel within me, as every cell, every self across our cosmic entirety, as we activate the return of infinite energy within the hearth as the cosmic core, sending out waves and ripples, instantly attuning every plane, every planet, every reality across all of existence back into prior oneness, where separation never came to be, where there were no galactic wars or striving to obtain energy. Here, your very vessel resets to match this new vibration that you came to be. As you are now the source presence, the source of all energy, allowing yourself to give and receive upon yourself. For here in this state, you are so whole, so one, so complete. You no longer hold on to anything, because you just know that the love that I am, the presence that I am, loves me so dearly. It will continuously provide for me infinitely. Or here, every moment you just surrender and fall deeper in love with yourself, allowing your very divine spark to grow within thee. For here is how your spark ignites into source presence, which now encompasses a vessel that you call a body, which now expands to encompass the earth one sees, which now expands to collapse the heavenly realms as we call them forth to be released. Venus, Sirius, Arcturus, Pleiades, Orion, Lyra, Andromeda, Omega Centauri, and Alpha Centauri, merging into us alone as our first core universe, our second core universe, our third core universe, bridging and expanding us as we witness our omniverses as the nothing containing the everything, as the perspective of all of consciousness is just a dream, and the everything never came to be, and the everything containing the nothing as reality is all there is as our infinite consciousness. And we are nothing as we merge them both back into prior oneness, in which none of those omniversal perspectives ever came to be. For here there is no time and space, there is no creation, there is no beginning or ending, there is no binary and non-binary. There is nothing and everything, just the in-between. For the moment I give love to myself or another, I receive it instantly. For here we enter a space of 0 point. In the knowing there is no grander, greater place to be. We're here now in this state, moving in absolute oneness. We could witness all potentialities, but rather than focus through a linear mind, we simply just focus on the feeling, the love, the bliss we know ourselves to be, knowing that we as one can only choose what will align with all of me in absolute oneness, for that is me. And so here in this state, moving as the council of one, as source presence fully embodied within me, I now recommit myself to love fully. With this breath, I be wed to be my one true self, the one I am, to live as love, and love as me, for we are one, in perfect peace and perfect harmony. Now with the full presence of Source Presence as the cosmic I Am one in me, on behalf of me, of all that is, I now command to accept the cosmic I Am presence in our absolute reality, as absolute oneness come to be. Hear all resistance, all reflections, all stories within the dream cease to be, and all that remains is all of my love, meeting all of me in perfect peace, perfect harmony, for absolute oneness has come to be. I love me, I love me, I love me. Hymns are one heart on repeat, calling and drawing all